What's up, homies? Welcome back to Agents After Hours. Our podcast is for agents who want to talk about the parts of this industry no one wants to say out loud.
We're Erica,
And Paige.
and we're here to bring you unfiltered, unapologetically honest real estate talk. So pour a drink, take a breath, and let's dive in, baby.
Let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
Energy. We need that right now.
I feel pretty energetic.
I know. You're very energetic. I am not. So
I think this is going to be a really good episode. We're going to talk about some things that we stopped doing in our business to make us better agents. And I have a list of us to kind of go through and talk about. And so I think that it'll help a lot of agents, even if you're newer or even if you've been doing this forever. There's always room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
But first, I want to kick us off because we were just talking about our horoscopes. I checked on mine today. I don't do it every day. And I was like, wow, this is very fitting. And as we were sitting here, Paige opened up hers and she's like, this is a sad horoscope. So I was like, let's just read them on the pod. You want to go first or me?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You.
Me? Okay.
Okay.
So the big line, the first one says, the world needs you, which that's why I was like, that's sad. Your critical eye spots what others miss. That rare skill feels like a burden when you're alone with your thoughts. But somewhere right now, a problem waits that only you can solve. They need your specific touch.
I could totally see that.
I'm sick and tired of solving problems right now.
Sorry, that's your job.
No, I know. I posted something. I wasn't complaining. I just, sometimes I just get really, I get discouraged or just exhausted. And I was explaining it to my coach and he reminded me it is a privilege to be here. It's a privilege to be in this position. So I also then shared a status the other day that said the same thing. And essentially that it is a privilege to have what I have and I'm just exhausted. So I'm not bitching from a place of I don't want it. I'm bitching from a place of I'm just exhausted.
I think that everybody kind of hits that, even no matter what level you are. I was talking with a friend of mine as well who's super successful, at least in my eyes, very, very inspiring, changing lives. And she's been struggling a lot with that also. And just I know that this is what I prayed for. This is what I want. It just right now it feels heavy. And I think it's okay because I think both can be true. And I think that that's often the case. Not everything's going to be perfect all the time. And it's okay to feel those feelings.
And I am a good problem solver. So, I get why people want to utilize that. It's just, some days I just don't want to solve any problems and I just want to be a potato on a couch. So that's all. And today's one of those days.
I could see that. I can't understand. I feel like it would be hard. You have not only 20 something people that, you have to be responsible for, but also 3 or 4 in your own house. And so I can see that being hard. I get that.
In my own set of clients, I've already closed 20 deals this year. So also that. So
yeah, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my horoscope.
Built for it. Yep. All right.
Built
make it
different.
happy.
Okay. Well, it's not very happy. I said it's spot on.
Shit. God damn it.
Okay. The passion of destruction is a creative joy. Stop tiptoeing around what needs to end, the dead-end job, suffocating routine, or relationship that drains you. Cut it loose. The relief you feel afterward will remind you what being alive actually means. My do's are hot mess, latex, and comebacks. I don't know what I'm doing in latex, but we'll see. And then my don'ts are reenactments, impulsivity, and running on fumes. So I felt like that was very fitting for me.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a hot mess. Actually, before we started recording, I had been kind of trying to get the house back in order. I don't know. It's just, I notice about myself, I get very focused on one thing and then other things kind of tend to fall behind. So if I'm very invested in, I'll use work as an example, then the house falls off. Or if I'm very invested in my health and this, then this falls off. And so it's just one of those things. And so I'm okay, it's time to kind of purge, reset. I'm going to take my rug outside if I have time today and power wash it. Just do little things to clean up my space and feel better.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty fitting.
Yeah.
And I was also telling Aries, I'm also getting to a point where just in relationships in general, I'm just kind of coasting more. I don't need to fix everything. I'm just kind of okay, I'm here. And that's kind of a relief because I do tend to be a fixer or I'm going to fix it. And so just kind of being a little bit more passive and in the passenger seat has been kind of nice.
Sometimes you just got to take care of yourself.
The show.
And if someone needs you, they can come to you. and you can just be there. Like you said to me,
Yeah.
you're like, because Erica texted me on Wednesday and asked if I was good, and I apparently just straight ghosted her. I swear I had something typed out though, so I don't know if I didn't. What happened there? My guess is I got distracted mid type and was just like, I'll get back to it, and never did. And then you texted me about something else a couple days later.
It
I'm
happens.
sorry.
And that's why I was like, Paige thinks I'm being frigid. I don't feel frigid, but I was like, I
I
don't
said
know. I'm just
rigid,
here. Rigid.
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 You seem
Okay.
short. For clarification, I couldn't think of the best word to use.
I was like, I don't understand.
Frigid isn't that cold?
Yeah. And so is rigid, I think.
Maybe.
But
Who
either
knows?
way, moving on.
Moving on to the important meat and potatoes of this episode.
I think it's also important to talk about this because of the fact that sometimes we need that permission slip to know that you don't have to do everything. And so this is kind of us saying, like, these are some things, some practices that maybe we had early on that we got rid of that made us better, because what's the number one saying? It's like you can't pour from an empty cup. So one of the things that was really hard for me was to stop trying to work with every single person. And there are cases where I still struggle with this. And it's not, you had asked me the other day, would you work with a buyer somewhere? And I was like, I'll work with the buyer anywhere, knowing that, like, I was like, I just did one over there and it kind of sucked. I was like, I'm very quick to jump at an opportunity because I like to be busy. And so
Yeah.
I was like, I'll do it. But something that I think I can see in other agents as well as myself is that some people just aren't ready. And so sometimes I have spent more time trying to like nudge them and help them see the possibility of what's possible than they really want to see it. And you can't want this for someone than they want it for themselves. And so that's
100%.
letting go of that a little bit and just being like, okay, I have a client now who they fell in love with the house. When I say fell in love, it was like a love situation. And I reached out to them the next day, like, hey, just doing a temp check to see how you're feeling about things. Do you want to move forward? They're like, yeah, we still really much want to go forward. We're working a couple things out. Okay. I haven't really heard from them. It had been a week. And I was like, I wonder if I should reach out. But at the same time, they know the situation of the market. They know what they need to do next. They know exactly what their next steps are. So by me reaching out is just doing what? And I will like just check in and just be like, hey, just letting you know I'm here. But like aside from that, it's kind of like, okay, I'm ready for you when you're ready.
Yeah. So I just listened to a little clip from Ryan Serhant, and he was, I guess I don't know what the question is. I think it just like popped up with his answer. But when it comes to follow up, it's always like give, ask. So like, it's not just like, hey, checking it after a week. It's like giving information like, hey, I saw this house, or hey, they did a price drop, or hey, I talked to the agent, still no offers, like things like that. I actually have been more on top of my clients because I want decisive clients, and I am going to stay on top of them because for me, this is new. Like I'm talking brand new. Like I don't want to I feel like everybody tells me what I need to be doing. I want to take charge of that. So lately I have been pushing and being a little, I don't want to, like, I've just been on top of it. Like somebody took like 5 days to sign a listing contract. I asked every single day. Like, because I'm like, let's go. What are we doing? Because then all of a sudden it's going to be Friday evening at 7:00 at night. And you're like, okay, I signed my listing contract. I have all these questions. Well, it's Friday night at 7:00. I'm out on date night. So like, I've been super proactive with my follow-up lately because I don't want to be waiting for people. But that's new.
But that makes a lot of sense, because I think that kind of goes back to what we were saying last week about giving our actual like opinions on things when it matters. I think that that's also very important. But I will say, like, pushing someone along, like if they're not ready, I don't want to make someone see a vision that they don't see, because at the end of the day,
100%.
what I will never do again is like, that sounds too harsh, but like the worst situations, the most frustrating situations that I have been in have started with, well, we can still get out of this, right? Well, that I don't fucks with, because it's like you have so many people relying on it. Yes, if there's something that falls through, that's something that happens. That's just the name of the game. If we're going into this looking for a backup plan, I'm not going to be a great fit for you, because we're taking this seriously.
I literally had a client ask me that
recently. And it's like, that to me is probably like one of the biggest red flags is like how the transaction's going to go is like, can I get out of this? We can still back out, right? Like that is a crazy like
That's
concept
a
for
red
me.
flag. But I think that also is a great opportunity to educate. So this client said at that point I'm locked in and would not be able to back out of it, correct? I said great question. Almost every real estate transaction has what's called earnest money. It's basically a good faith deposit that shows you're serious about buying the home. Talked about that, what I recommend that to be. I said your offer would be contingent on things like satisfactory inspections, the lender's appraisal, confirming that the home is worth what you're paying, your financing. If we needed to terminate the contract because of one of those contingencies, you would receive your earnest money back. The only money you would be out was the cost of the inspection and appraisal. Maybe he was worried, just playing devil's advocate. When a client asks that, maybe they're like, okay, am I locked in if inspections suck? So I wanted to clarify that. I said, now if you decide to back out simply because of cold feet or you change your mind, all of the contract terms have been satisfied, then you would likely forfeit your earnest money plus whatever you've spent on appraisal. There is also another side to this transaction, the seller. Once they accept an offer, they're taking their home off the market and committing to you. So we want to be respectful of that. My biggest advice is to take your time before we write an offer and make sure it's a home you truly want and feel good about. So I also then clarified buying your first home can have a lot of what the heck am I doing moments or feel very overwhelming. Almost every buyer goes through that. So at some point, I do want to separate those normal nerves from actual red flags that they might find. Because I did have one buyer who was just like, normal, you're going to have nerves.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you're in a real estate transaction and you're nervous and things keep happening, it's very easy to say, okay, this is a sign. This is a sign that I'm not supposed to. But like having a 63-page inspection and having to negotiate 10 items to be repaired, that's normal. That's not a sign of anything. That's just
Mm-hmm.
normal. Now, if your basement's crumbling, your furnace is crumbling, your AC is crumbling, the roof is shit, there's water, that's different. But like
Mm-hmm.
if it's just like little things that can be repaired, or if it's like financing needs an extra document because the document provided didn't have all the correct information, or it didn't verify your income correctly, like your first couple pay stubs, that's not a sign. That's just normal. So I also think that that's a big thing to talk about as well too.
Yeah, that's again managing your client expectations. And a lot of times I am a very feely person, but my clients also know that. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, how you feeling? Are you still feeling good? Well, I'm a little bit anxious. Okay, yeah, that's good nerves. Like that's always happening. Like but you know
Yeah.
your bad nerves. Like you know yourself. Everyone knows herself. But yeah, the whole that phrase is a big red flag for me. Something else I think about too is like
Yeah.
we get a lot of like leads from places, and I think something that also helped me clear out some of my brain space is like not every single lead that comes through like is a client. So like
Hmm.
I'm just kind of like until like I do feel like buyer broker agreements kind of help streamline that, but like I'm not chasing that. I've said that before. I
No.
think that like the people who come to me are the ones that want to work with me, and that's kind of where I stand with that.
Yeah. I think when it comes to like buyers and like if you want me, come select me, I'm not hunting you down. But like we don't mean like if you don't want if you're interviewing a bunch of us. But what we're not gonna do is if you say that like I'm only gonna work like I want to work with you and then you go MIA, like we'll follow up. But like I think both of us are the same way. We don't want to be pushy because like what if something happened? Or, like your mom died or your cat died or something like that. Like, we don't want to be like, hey, are you ready to buy a house? Hey, are you ready to buy a house? And you're like, sorry, can't, not good timing. And it's for some personal reason. So some communication is very helpful.
Yeah, so again, I think that not what I meant, but what
I
I
know.
meant was like, for example, I purchased last year around this time, I bought like a paid lead source, and I'm getting 250 leads a month. Like I'm getting crazy amount of people that have no idea that they have signed up for this. So like those are not my clients. Those are not people that I'm gonna they live in their own little spot on my CRM, and that's where they stay, and like they're
Yeah.
not getting like like every single lead is not your client. So like I'm not counting that as like, wow, I have 250 potential sellers. I don't. And they're not taking up my brain space.
Yeah, I agree. I also think I have learned this year that there are just certain personalities that are hard for me.
Hmm.
And I will do myself and the client better and my other clients better if I just like, hey, this is a hard personality for me. Brandon, will you take it? Or I'm going to refer it out to somebody else. Like Brandon can attract very different clients than what I'm comfortable taking on. Like, that's
Mhm.
just a personality mix for me. So it is nice having a partner to be able to refer that out to, but also like in general, don't lose money like because you're passing up on somebody because they have there's a personality conflict. Refer that shit out and make your money.
I think that you'll be way happier doing that
Mhm.
than trying to force a personality that doesn't work for you. And I will say
100%.
that from experience. I had a one client that was such a challenge for me that I found myself raising my voice when voices were getting raised at me, and that is completely
Mhm.
out of character for
Oh,
me.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is.
But I was very like, I was getting, like, blatantly disrespected, and it wasn't maybe somebody else could have handled him better, right?
Yeah.
But he or she. But for me, it was awkward the whole time because we had that disagreement at the very beginning, and it was every time my phone would ring, I would dread it, and, like, I wouldn't I because 'cause I'm like, "I know this is gonna be an argument." There was no trust. He didn't trust me. He had no trust in me. I don't know why we continued down that road, but I even said, "If you're not comfortable, go another route." But I don't know. It was just hell, and that's just it was hell, and, if I was very, very close to like, "Hey, if this doesn't work out, I'm not doing this again, like, I will refer it
Mhm.
out."
Yeah.
So, if I didn't make it to the end, I would've. And not all money's good money. That was not good. That was not fun.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Uh,
I think that there was only been a couple clients where I'm just like, I looked at Brandon, I was like, "I'm gonna need you to take this over." Like, I
yeah, I
can't.
had one. I had that one, and the thing about me is, like, I still didn't let it go. Still, I didn't even refer it to Eris. I was like the meetings, like, the inspections and, like, things like that, I was like, "I'm not gonna go. I can't."
Yeah.
But Eris would go to, like, because we had to go meet different specialists out there and things, and that's when I was like, "I just can't." And it was just nothing wrong with the person, just not a good match. Not a good
Yep.
match, and he didn't see my value, and I was very defensive in that in hindsight, and just whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Do you have any other, like, red flags that you know it's gonna trend negatively if you hear a buyer say it or a seller?
And that's probably just my biggest one. For sellers, it's a little bit tougher because normally they're pretty motivated. Now, if they say something like, if I don't sell it, I don't care, like, that's
Ooh,
frustrating because then
I
what are
care.
we doing? Yeah, what are we doing? This is not just funsies for me. I'm not just, I have a goal at the end of the day to sell your house. And so I mean, that's difficult. That's a red flag for me.
If a seller said that, like, well, we'll just let it sit. If it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. I'll be like, "Okay, I'm gonna have you in the contract reimburse me for my pre-listing, my photos, and I have a retainer for the work that."
Yeah,
Like,
because
absolutely
you're
not.
not gonna talk them into, and, like, no offer is gonna be good enough at that point. They're not gonna wanna do any price drops, so they have no motivation, and that's kind of a bigger issue.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I also don't love when, and I haven't had this in a long time, but I just thought about it. But I remember a client texted me and it was a list of easily 10 houses and said, schedule this for tomorrow at 10 a.m.
That would trigger me. I would get so
Mm.
stressed.
I would be like, can you please? Would be great.
"Good
Would you
morning."
please? Good morning. Hello. Like, schedule these for tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Was he a D personality?
I showed him, I think I only showed him 5 houses off that list because, or like half of them. I'm going to say 5 because that was an easy number that came to mind, and I don't think he ended up buying, like,
Okay.
with anybody ever. I think he's still renting.
Oh, interesting. So it just
But
wasn't for him
he was very shy at the showings, very timid, very shy. Like, maybe he was a C, all about accuracy. Get it done.
at 10 AM.
At 10 a.m. on Saturday, absolutely not. Speaking of, somebody wants to see a house tomorrow at night.
Oh, I'll be out all day, baby, all day.
You want to show up to them? It's on the south side.
I can depending on the time. I'm gonna be out all day. Like, I have 8 or 9 showings tomorrow.
9 a.m.
No, I can't. I'm sorry.
Literally, it's on the south side, I think.
One of the things I think that I stopped doing also is I stopped confusing busy with being productive because
Ooh.
there are
Mhm.
so many things that you can do that maybe aren't really moving the needle. And so I do want to ask you that question. Like, okay, so just examples of that would be like, if you are in there, we have a marketing like team, thankfully. So like if you need like an open house graphic or a flyer or something like that, we can easily delegate that out. But if I were to sit there and spend the time doing those, that would really eat up a lot of my time and my
Mhm.
creative juices that I don't want to deal with.
Mhm.
Organizing your office, like, doing things like that, doing, like, the fun little stuff, like, I don't know, it's just that's not making you any money, and so, there
You
comes a
gotta get
point.
away from that.
Yeah, there comes a point where you have to ask yourself, like, "What is making me money? What are my needle movers?" And I'm curious to see, like, what yours are. If you say you wake up to a day, you're like, "I don't have a lot of stuff I'm doing. I'm gonna do something meaningful and intentional," like, what does that look like for you?
If I have a day where I have nothing to do, I'm doing nothing.
I'm asking for the sake
I'm
of the
gonna
podcast, so get it together.
for clarity. But, something for me, I would probably go follow up. I would probably spend maybe an hour doing follow-up. Follow-up's not my favorite thing, so I'm not gonna be spending a crap ton of it. I'm gonna do it during a time of day that maybe I feel a little bit more energized and happy, especially if I have to be talking to people, so I'm gonna find a time during the day to maybe spend an hour just follow up. Like,
Mhm.
might not go anywhere, but I'm gonna try. I would probably spend an hour checking in on social media, just making sure that my online footprint is good and that I'm actually putting myself out there. I think that would really be it. Follow up and just whatever marketing I need to do, like, or social media, not marketing, but because I do have Emily to make graphics for me and stuff. But I would just make sure that, like, I have it. Like, I remember one time I was scrolling and I hadn't posted in like 30 days. And I was
Yeah,
like, "Ooh,
yeah.
whoops."
And if you're in
So,
a good mindset for that, you could knock it out.
I know. So it's just like something so simple. I mean, follow-up is probably the biggest thing though, and it can be a text, it doesn't have to be a phone call.
I think that, like, planning something to where you're gonna be interacting with people, having the conversations with them is the most important,
Mhm.
whether it's, like, with a lender or something like that. I think I am starting to realize that, like, preferred vendors and things like or just vendors in general are really great connections to have, whether
Mm,
whatever it be for, maybe not it's not for a lead, but, like, for example, we have a guy who we can refer a lot of business for, like, waterproofing, basement work, things like that, which is, like, a big thing, and
yeah,
so having that relationship, it helps my clients big time. Having a great relationship with, like, a roofing company, that's a resource for your client, so, like, even if you're getting
yeah,
out there and building those relationships, no, they might not have a referral for you or you not might not make money, but, like, that's tools in your arsenal that, like, you can provide to a client and people that are like, "Oh, I will totally do that for Erica and Aries or Paige and Brandon," or whatever, like,
yeah.
their clients, I got them. That's super helpful.
1,000% agree, like, with that.
And then, aside from that, like, to your point, I see a lot of memories on my story from, like, 3 years ago, 4 years ago when I was, like, newer in real estate, and I was and I'm like, "Dang, these are interesting." I would even watch my stories or, like, my
Mhm.
videos and stuff, and I
Yeah.
was just so in tune with that, and so I would probably also try to do that. If I have like, a good day and I'm a really high energy day, you'll definitely notice because there will be signs.
You'll have
Like,
videos.
I'll show you everything.
Literally.
I'm like,
If
"Let's
you
do this
see
today."
if you see Erica talking on her story, you know she's full of energy.
I'm in a
Like,
good day.
yeah. There was one the other week, and I don't wanna make you self-conscious, so I hope it does not backfire, but your boobs were all out and you looked so cute.
Oh, that would never make me self-conscious.
Good.
I really wanna I like them, so that's good. I don't and that's funny because I'm always so mindful about them, so I wonder what they were doing out. Like, what was I
They were
wearing?
hanging out. They were out.
Really? What was I wearing?
I feel like you were wearing, like, a black tank top or something, or a black t-shirt,
Huh.
and you were kind of bent over a little bit, and I think that that's probably why.
Oh, that's interesting.
'Cause
Cause
you're
I
like, "Hey, guys," and you're like and I'm like, "I can't focus on nothing but your tots." So,
man!
you got probably good views that day.
Well, that's the thing is, like, when you start when you start showing your boobs, you get the views. No, I'm just kidding. But when you you start showing up more, like, your views go up and up and up and up.
100%.
So, it's just there will be people who are like, "You don't need social media. You know, that's not working, that's not productive." But I promise you it is. If you're doing it strategically and you're providing value, it's definitely helpful because that's how I have built my entire business, and my first year, I closed a bunch of leads on Opcity, I think 8, which is like realtor.com. If you didn't
Mhm.
know, it's like a pay at close situation. And I
Yep.
closed a bunch of them that way. I gained a lot of experience, but like I quickly realized for me, I don't want to jump in and update my referrals. It's a little task, but it irritates me. It's like I have nothing to
Mhm.
say. If I had something to tell you, I would tell you situation.
"What do you want me to do? Told you spoke?" Like, continuing conversation? Like, what do you
Yeah, exactly. So that irritated me enough to the point where I'm like, "No, I just need my own clients." And so I started, like, getting away from that, and what I've noticed is, like, people will reach out to you and be like, "Hey, I've been watching you for a while, I can't wait for you to help me,"
Mhm,
and I've said it a million times and I'll say it one more time. Those are the people that I wanna work with because I can show up being myself and they already know
100%.
myself. I just had someone in my DMs the other day that was like, "I know we don't talk, but I feel like I know you," and that is the point.
That's the whole point.
Mhm.
That's the whole point. When someone tells me, like, there was this one client, they're like, I chose you because I watched your podcast videos and I feel like we talk a lot alike." I'm like, "Bet. I can say fuck."
Yeah, you can be yourself, and that's the best thing that's the best.
We had a board meeting yesterday and I said bullshit in the meeting, and I said it kind of under my breath because I realized it was coming out of my mouth and I needed to change my volume. And
Yeah.
I had the attorney rolling, like, because we have attorneys at all the board meetings, and she was cracking up. She goes, "Ha, bullshit. Yeah."
That's bullshit.
I was dying. What about you? Is there anything that you do? Is that like moving the needle is content day for you or content
That's m
creation?
it could be, but it also is just, like, having the conversations, doing the follow-up. Something that I
Yeah.
learned in the coaching is, like, each day of the or each one day a week, you're, like, reaching out to a new letter of the alphabet in your phone, and that has helped a lot. Like, I
That's
have actually
brilliant.
yeah, so it's like when I was on my, so you do, like, A's, B's, C's, all the way, like, whoever you have in your phone, you can do it on Facebook, you can do it however, but, like, just and they kinda give you, like, ideas of things to talk about, but I don't even need those. I can talk about it, but, like, whatever, but just having the intention of, like, I'm having these conversations, to me, that's a
Yeah.
needle mover because, you always get people. Now, if you're somebody that, like, wants business right now, I think that's where, like, FSBOs, expireds, things like that, that's where you can drum up business if that's your thing and you're like, "I want it now." Otherwise, it's more of, like, planting the seeds, watering the seeds, and letting them grow.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I do wanna say one thing though. This was like a huge aha moment for me, and this is where I feel like sometimes I can get mentally tangled up in just life in general, nothing really that has to do with work, but, like, I'm thinking about so many things and it's just a tangled mess in my head, right?
Mhm.
And then, like, Eris will be talking to me, I'll be looking at my phone, looking at, like, 20 different things on my phone at the same time, and I was like, "Whoa," this was just yesterday. I'm like, "Whoa, I need to put this down for a second. Let me finish this conversation, and then, like, let me refocus," because the amount of stimuli that we have thrown at us at any given time is enough to fry our nervous systems, and I think that's what was happening to me. And
Mhm.
so having that being mindful in that aspect of, like, okay, if I'm having a conversation, looking at my phone is just another thing,
Mhm.
whether I'm checking the weather, doing this, doing that, it's information coming at me and I will short circuit. Multitasking is one thing. We obviously have to have multiple conversations with multiple people at any given time. However, I think that, like, kind of streamlining that and, like, okay, right now I'm responding back to all my clients that have already wrote me. Like, that's one thing. But, like, if I'm checking houses, checking realtor, checking the disclosures, talking to Eris, like, that's enough to fry me. So I have to, like, almost always the phone. The phone's always the problem because
Yeah.
that's where everything is coming from. But, like,
Yeah.
almost just, like, organizing, doing one thing at a time, it's almost life-changing, and it sounds so simple,
Yeah.
but it's almost life-changing.
I saw a meme about phones. A meme of there was 2 motorcycles riding together and one fell and crashed. And all you see is this one motorcycle guy, and he's pretending to be, like, injured, and the other one, he was, like, on his phone, and he's, like, laughing at videos. He's like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Ambulance. Calls 911." I'm like, that is literally legit where, like, you start to go do something on your phone, and you're like, "Oh, yeah. What was I even doing?" Because you got sidetracked by something else.
Well, by habit, like, if you think about it, if you're by habit just, like, picking up your phone for that dopamine hit, like, you're looking at, like, Instagram or something, and there's been so many times I'm looking for someone's number or something, and I accidentally open it by mistake, and that's like, the brick has made a big difference in my life. Maybe I'm the only
Mhm.
one who's, like, super involved in my phone, but it's just almost not even just the social media part of it, but just, like, the
Yeah.
constant information. Like, "Oh, I need to see what time the dog's groomer is. Oh, I need to," like, it's just, like, it's just too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Anyways,
agree.
that can be really hard, and I just feel like that's when I tend to short circuit and get burnout personally.
I get burnt out. Like right now, I feel like I'm being pulled a lot of different ways. And so is Brandon. I get burnt out when Brandon's busy with me. And he has more clients than I do right now.
Mhm.
between lending and then like what will filter into me for real estate. But still, right now it's him. And it's like, I think he probably has like 12 clients and I have like half that.
Mhm.
So, but then I have half of his whatever. So, like, when we're both busy, that's when I fucking get burnt out for
Yeah,
sure.
because I could see that you don't have anybody to, like, lean on
I mean,
or,
I
like,
was asking
reach out.
Telegram. Yeah, I was asking
Yeah.
Telegram. Anybody free to show a house for me? Like, because normally that's Brandon.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. So, like, one of the other things on the list that's, like, a good place to start is, like, saying yes to every single thing. And that's not even just clients, but also so we have a listing that we're really trying to move, and Sawyers has it on Facebook. And he gets a lot of like, "Oh, can I go see this?" And part of you really wants to do it because I'm like, "Dude, I have to do whatever I can to sell this house." But the amount of times that he has gone already and like it amounts to nothing. So like I think that that's where like having your systems in place and your I hate to say boundaries because I do feel like that's a buzzword, but like almost like standards. Okay, like we're not going to go and see this until, you do your due diligence and then I'll do mine and just that alone has been cleared up so much headspace because that's where like I'm going out of my way, spending 30 minutes to get there, 30 minutes to an hour with you, then 30 minutes to come home. We're already 2.5 hours into something that you're not even ready for.
Yeah,
You don't have to
yeah,
say yes to things like that. You don't have to say
no,
yes to like things unless it's going to make or break something for your client. I think that like you have to have standards, really. It's what they are, like minimum standard practices.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I have enforced boundaries. Like, I had somebody text me at like 9:50 the other night asking me questions, and I'm like, and then they texted me again. It's 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know what you think my hours are, but they aren't that. Like, you thought I was going to respond until 10 o'clock and then still respond at 6 a.m. Absolutely. I don't know when you thought I was going to be sleeping, but I have cut that off, like, as well. Timing of everything. I might text somebody, though, at 6 o'clock in the morning if I'm up. I did this morning.
I think it just depends and like reading the room and taking it by like a case by
Yeah.
case basis, but like or like you said, last minute showings at unreasonable hours. So if someone's like, I need to
Hmm.
see 10 houses tomorrow at 9 a.m., like that's a little much. But like that's what I said last week is like that's the kind of stuff that panics me.
Yeah.
I just need to be able to like handle it with time. Oh,
I just need time to process, to
yeah,
be
time to
quite
process.
honest.
So like
Yeah.
that's why one of the things that we do teach our clients and our buyers specifically is like, okay, like a lot of homes, they may require 24-hour notice. So like, let's plan on that when we're scheduling things. And that'll give us time to look things up and make sure that we're giving them enough time. And so that's helped out tremendously.
Uh, how far do you drive? I guess that's something that I did differently too. Like, I don't go further than an hour. No.
No,
Like,
I won't. I've never really gone further than once I didn't like it. I've said that before. I think that like,
but Goshen's like 55 minutes
oh,
or 50. So,
I
like,
would
I'll
do
go to
Goshen.
Goshen, but I'm not going further east than that. Like,
Yeah.
or,
There's
yeah.
certain counties, but again, like, that's not even just for me not wanting to drive, it's more so, like, if there's gonna be certain nuances that I'm not gonna know about, and
Hmm.
quite honestly, that's gonna be more digging and more research and more time for me on something that could be simple, and that might be something that I refer out if it's over an hour away because I'm not gonna know
For
it.
sure.
And it's not just time lost in the car, it's like, I don't have inspectors that will go that far, and then I'm trying to, like,
Oh,
ask
for
for
sure.
referrals for things, and it's
Yeah,
just not for me.
I agree.
But listings are easier, I think, because
Hmm.
you don't have to do as much. As long as, I mean, we have access to all the stats that we need to, I feel like, appropriately price something. And I think
Hmm.
that that's a lot easier because we're not going to, I mean, we might have to find contractors and stuff, but I don't know. I think listings further out are a little bit easier for me. I might do that a little bit further.
I do agree. Listings I'll take.
Listings I'll take. Buyers are hard with multiple trips.
Yeah,
Again, you don't know as much.
I agree.
So we've touched on this before, but I think that something else that has definitely made me a better agent is just not taking everything so personally. And it could be so many different things. It could be the deal falling apart. That sucks. And that's a bad feeling for anybody, but that's not something that's my fault. And so I'm not taking that I'm not taking that mental load on. One of the things on the list is bad reviews, and I might take that a little personally because you're coming at me specifically for that.
Yeah, bad reviews would have me all types of tripped up.
Yep, I don't really mess with that. Someone choosing another agent, I think it's hard for me, but at the same time, I'm not gonna let myself linger on that. It's like, okay, you felt like
100%.
somebody was a better fit.
Yeah.
that's what I can do. I know that, again, if they're choosing someone else, you would have been second choice. And so, like, why would you want to work with someone like that feels like your second choice? That's not
Yeah.
fun for me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like losing out on a listing for when they're interviewing other agents. I think that that's to me, I can handle that. Okay, great. Like you interviewed, but when someone's like, "Hey, I loved you. I would go with you, but my mom's best friend's aunt is a realtor and my mom's telling me I got to use her." That fucking makes me mad. That's a hill I
Yeah.
will die on. I don't care about your mother's best friend's aunt. Like, tell your mom to kick rocks because you interviewed me and you know that I'm going to get your house sold. Did you even talk to your mother's best friend's aunt? Have you interviewed with her yet? And they're like, no, we haven't met. She's coming over. Like, so you're telling me you're kicking me and you haven't even met this chick?
That's where, and
That
that's
one
where,
drives me
like,
a little bonkers.
you know that people will rely on someone's recommendation before they rely on their own. So,
That should be explored and
yeah,
talked about more.
because people will go for someone that their friend said was good before they go for someone that they found that they really like because they trust their friend's opinion more than their own.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
that's weird.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have done that has made me a better agent is stop talking so much. And that's one of the things that I said I was going to do at the beginning of the year is say less words. I bring them to the podcast, and that has helped so much. Clear communication is something that I focus on often, and I observe it in others. And so in a professional setting or like with my clients and my buyers negotiating things like that, I have learned to say less but say what I mean.
So something that I will be working on, and it's just finally entered my dome piece like fully, so I'm processing it and then I'll take action. But it's like when I say something, and you'll probably notice it in office meetings, I'll say something, and if I feel like it's controversial or like it's going to offend somebody, I'll be like, so yeah, like, so yeah, why do I need to say that? Why do I need to like lessen I say it in such a way too sometimes where it's just like, or I'll say it in like an I'm sorry tone. Like anytime I deliver bad news or I feel like I say something controversial, I always feel like I have to defend it with my tone or adding words like, and so yeah, that's just why it has to be that way. Like I always feel like I have to defend that and I'm going to stop doing that. I
That's
think that'll make,
interesting. That's really interesting. I'm going to pay attention to that. But something that Eris had told me was like, well, I heard what you said, but like, it's almost like I would give someone like a way out. I would still say what I meant, but then like have kind of like a scapegoat off to the side where I don't even know if that's making any sense. So I'm
I
not
understand. I understand.
communicating
Only because I
clearly.
do it.
Yeah. So I would like say something, but then like also give an option to not don't take it that way when I'm not really saying what I mean. And so that has been brought to my attention in so many different ways, especially that situation with my doctor was freaking life
Yeah.
changing for me. That was life changing because I'm putting so much freaking trust in you, lady, for
Yeah.
you to just be like, okay, you can, this is what I think, but let's do whatever you want to do and just see what happens because I don't want to take that blame. No, done.
Yeah.
That changed my life. That changed the way I did business. That changed the way I talked to other people big time. But
I agree.
also you have to be clear with the call to action. So like if I'm giving someone a task that I need them to do, I can't muddy it with words. I need to be very specific and say, okay, this is our next step. That's it. Period. No confusion, crystal clear. We're moving on. You have two options. Option A, this, option B, this, that's it. Those are our options, you know?
Or if you're not going to take either of these options, I need you to come back with a fantastic option C, or you can find somebody else.
That's the thing. It's like there's always options, but like if you're talking or something's just like severely open-ended, there's confusion on everyone's parts. You need to just get to the point of what you want.
I agree. I think another thing that, and I think it's pretty broad, but what makes me a better agent as well too, is always being open to hear how you're wrong or how
Oh,
somebody else does it
being
or
coachable.
how being coachable. Like this industry requires you to pivot quite often. So like you have to also learning from other people's mistakes. Like I get front row to so many agents calling me about telling me like how a situation happened. Like for example, we had an agent who, I mean, when you go to a listing and you see a washer and dryer, do you look behind the washer and dryer?
No, but I will ask if this is gas or electric.
Correct. But you're not looking.
Right.
There was no hookups at one. It was just
And the seller didn't know.
I'm not going to talk about that any further. But of that situation. So another house, the oven wasn't working. So I'm like, I got to make sure that there's a gas line back there or an electrical outlet. So I like pulled out the stove and looked back there. That's going to make me a better agent now. So like, I'm going to start paying attention to that shit. Like, have to make sure. Wild shit. Anyways, be teachable, be coachable, pick up on things, other people's mistakes, and utilize them so you don't make them.
Absolutely. So. And I just think in general, you have to be the best version of yourself no matter what that looks like. You have to make sure that you're operating in your best, and that's going to make you the best agent. And whatever you have to cut out to get there or whatever you have to add to get there is going to be different for everyone.
If you're in this for the long haul, you should be pivoting and learning and growing and evolving as an agent and subtracting and adding as much as possible.
Yeah, all the time. Don't ever feel like you're going to get so stuck in your ways that like you can't change, because I don't think it's going to be beneficial for you.
I think those agents, the ones that are so stuck in their ways, are the agents that I think a lot of us, our generation of agents, bitch about. So don't become that.
That's all we got for you guys. I hope that helps. I hope that helps you become a better agent. And I honestly, in talking about this, I feel like I could dig in so deep. So maybe that's something that we can do at a later date. Paige had to shut me
when
up
I'm more
and
prepared.
Remind me of the time.
Yeah.
But don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube at Agents After Hours Podcast for more behind the scenes chaos, which we need to provide, more real estate talk and unfiltered conversations.
And if you're a real estate agent looking to grow your business, you can use code After Hours for $100 off Hustle Humbly Podcast. They have a lot of cool resources to help grow your business, so make sure you take advantage of that. And then also you can use code After Hours for a discount at Modern Agent Social Club.
Yep. And if you want to shop some of our favorite things, business, personal life podcast, you can visit our Amazon storefront. We have an Agents After Hours Amazon storefront.
Also, we have school supplies on there for our company's school supply drive. So if you also, when you're shopping our storefront, want to give back to some kiddos in our area, feel free to do that as well.
Alrighty. Sounds good, guys. We will see you on the next one.